one-shot arrow the creeps, you're a hard hero to gank in the lane, you're pretty good at team fighting overall with Starstorm, and there's a natural synergy between Nyx and Mirana and stun into arrow combo, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
But nothing special, and I worry right now with this opening that SG from the first pick perspective haven't really counterpicked in the first phase.
Definitely comforts from both of those first two picks. Something that Teoliko plays a lot, and actually ADR's most played in this patch is Mirana.
So.
Yeah, very good Mirana.
Yeah.
Absolutely a good pick for the players. That's not what no complaints on that.
I have a different perspective on this, and I don't disagree with what either of you just said, but to me, when you're this kind of an underdog, I think you want to get through the draft relatively even. I think you can get yourself into really big trouble as an underdog team without much LAN experience with this roster, trying to counterpick too heavily too early in the draft. I think you pick stable heroes. This is a combo that they've played a lot of. Teoliko on their 4-position player on the Nyx, ADR in the mid on the Mirana. It's a very stable open for them.
Absolutely. They're sticking to their guns. It's just, for me, I'm not sure how strong this first two is against the enemy first two. Like, it's one thing to break even. I don't know in this match if this is breaking even. And generally, the way the draft goes, the first pick team is considered most of the time to be ahead in the draft, all the way until and including the 4th pick. And then the second pick team can flip everything on the 10th pick of the draft. So if you're breaking even all the way into the last pick, you're going to lose the draft. You need to be ahead. Like, you can't be happy with a draw 8 picks in.
I guess what I hear from a lot of team captains in the draft is if your first pick, you're trying to force the other team to react immediately.
Yes, and right now, I don't feel like Liquid are under particular pressure right now. So Liquid will show their next hero, and then SG will pick. And I want to see SG start counterpicking so that they can get ahead in the draft, and Liquid have to solve a problem with their last pick instead of being free to take whatever they feel like for Miracle.
I think we're just coming at the problem from opposite angles, because I don't want to see another Fnatic game where the draft is just so lopsided. I think
that was a second pick AM.
But
well, fair enough.
Fnatic were first pick and counterpicked themselves.
I was going to say,
that's the difference.
Counterpicked. All right,
we're going to pick the counter to what you've just blocked. And then give you 3 more picks.
Interesting Husker ban here for SG. I definitely agree with the Nature's Prophet ban. I think that should be a second phase ban against Liquid a lot of the time after what we saw at TI, especially with the dual support open here.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, that's actually so cool.
This hero is very good with Chen. I like Beastmaster with both Enchantress and Chen. The logic in picking these heroes together is Beastmaster gets the aura, and when the play you make is that the Chen rotates either alone or with the Rubik to the Beastmaster's offlane. And if you execute 1 kill there, you suddenly have a Beastmaster with summons, Chen with creeps, and an attack speed aura, and you actually take the tower in 1 fell swoop. And that kind of aggressive play is extremely strong. In addition, Beastmaster has some weaknesses in laning, but Chen is like one of the strongest supports in the first 5 minutes, so you can offset that weakness of the hero. And they both want a 5-man. Again, it's like the Liquid draft is coming together very nicely. Wyvern is a solid solution.
You asked for some counter pick, and the Wyvern is the counter pick to the Beastmaster aura, right?
It's good. Winter's Curse against a lot of summons can kill heroes. They have the Splinter Blast against the summons as well to kill them off if they want to do that. Cold Embrace is a pretty nice save against Beastmaster. Good choice. Alternatives could have been a saving support with a different type of save than the Cold Embrace. You could have got like Shadow Demon against the Roar. You could have got Oracle against the Roar. The problem is both of those heroes are really bad against Chen.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like both of those heroes are just too defensive. Right. I feel like as SG, that's the other trap that I see underdog teams fall into, is that their drafts get a little bit too defensive, and they just get sort of the better team dictates tempo from start to finish.
Yes, that is true. I like the Wyvern pick. I like it a lot more than the Mirana pick in the respective slot. I feel like they could have got more out of that first phase than they did. Nyx to me is a great first pick. No complaints about that. And now we'll see what Liquid choose to go for here.
So do we have to worry about any cheese from Liquid still? The Husker is out. Brood is still in the pool.
They don't want to pick Brood.
Yeah, I agree.
15.
It's kind of a bad.
You don't pick Brood 15.
Actually, we are seeing more and more.
Wow.
No, we're seeing more and more of this. I was just looking at the data, and actually over the last couple of months, it's relatively even. Tail end of the second phase versus fifth phase. Brood used to be almost exclusively a last pick.
No, what I like is if SG could pick Brood now. That is the best slot for Brood in the draft, is pick number 16.
Yes.
Or slot number 16.
And we've
Pick
seen a
number-
lot of
pick number
16s.
But this is a 15 Brood, which is a bit unusual because now there's 2 core counter picks available. If you pick it on 16, there's 1 core counter pick available, and it's a huge difference. It's still, we need to consider from Liquid's perspective, they're super confident. They play this kind of lineup all the time. It's extreme pressure. Chen pressures, Beast pressures, Brood pressures mid. So they're probably just aiming to, like you said, dictate the tempo of the game. Force SG to run at them all the time to defend.
Which is not a bad plan when you think that actually, if you
all.
watch recent SG games, they do run at you in the early game.
Yeah. And so this is the funny thing. I never thought that I would say these words, but I actually kind of like Broodmother now as a pick because Brood just eats supports. She gets that Deso Orb early, and she absolutely just chews up your supports and spits them out. And given the importance right now that I think supports hold in the meta, those are high leverage positions. Support kills in the mid game, they matter now in a way that they did not matter even a year ago.
I'm thinking of solutions here. So the way I think about Brood is the hero is best in mid. It's just flat out its best lane. It benefits so much from the fast level so that it can farm jungle. So you either counterpick Brood in lane, so you have a hero that can stand there, or you do that. You don't either do that. You do that. You pick a hero that can stand in that lane. And Mirana is not that hero. So they have to move Mirana to either safe lane or off lane, and then they pick a mid hero. I think this could have been a really amazing Timbersaw game, personally. It's great against Beastmaster. It's great against Chen. It's great against Brood. Very easy to get armor up. Nothing will kill a Timber this game. They're going to go for the Ember instead. Also a solid laning choice.
I mean, if Timber, though, has some counters left in the pool, like Pugna, but I don't know if that fits.
There's Ember also has counters left in the pool.
Yeah, it's true. Anything is going to be counterable.
That's just this is the position you're in, right? So now Liquid are in the driver's seat in the end of the draft because they have the 10th pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Do you feel like SG won the first 2 phases? Is the question here. Like, I think they broke even. Like you said, I don't know if that's good enough.
No, I like I said, I agree with you what you're saying, that from their position, you've got to be ahead going into that last pick because that last overall pick can be incredibly powerful. But if you had told me ahead of this draft that we were going to think the drafts were relatively even through the first 4 on each side, I actually would have been fairly happy.
Mm-hmm. I think if they could have accomplished this while being second pick, they should be very happy.
Fair enough.
It's still a good Ember game. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna say this is a bad pick. I think it's very good. It's a hero that stands well against Brood, can farm the Spiderlings. There's very few ways of dealing with Ember for the Dire lineup. They have Roar and they have the Lift, but both of them have the Lift is instant, but the Roar is cast time. You can, if you're a mechanically skilled player, you can slide a fist, jump out. You can just fly out, jump out. You can slide chains. There's options, and it allows them to play aggressively. They can make moves.
I'm gonna nerd for like 5 seconds here. One of the things you'll see on our overlays as the game goes on is you're going to see Spiderling gold fed. And that was actually a really big deal. It was a nerf to Brood a while back that they increased the Spiderling bounties. Matumam on his Brood is very, very good at not feeding Spiderlings. We're going to see if that holds up against the Ember. And the Bat Rider, I like this draft from SG. This is, all 5 of these heroes are things that they are comfortable playing. Now, I think there's high countering potential right here for Liquid. What do you think about this last pick?
I mean, this is a Laposa Bat, which is by far and away his most played hero. So, I mean, there are 3 very solid comfort picks here.
There's a lot of potential for Lifestealer in this game. Good Bat Rider matchup in lane. It's good against Nyx.
Yeah.
It's a hero that Ember can't really control. There's Winter's Curse. It's like the only thing that I really dislike about Lifestealer in this game. But I also think just overall Liquid's playstyle and what they want to do. Lifesteal is pretty cool for these kind of moves. He can infest Hawks, they can make moves, he can infest the Broodmother, and just come together and kill heroes off. And it's a Liquid hero that they like to play. I'm just looking at heroes that are good against multiple of the... this is...
The least picked hero in this patch. In 6.0, in 7.06 overall, Spectre is 5 and 14 total.
You could have asked me to give you 25 suggestions for Liquid,
and I wouldn't have taken
mentioned Spectre.
No.
So this is a complete curveball.
Nowhere near any.
Is this a miracle Spectre?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Oh, wow.
It has really. Oh man, Bat Rider is an awful lane matchup.
He has been playing some odd heroes, it has to be said, in pubs recently. So
yeah. Oh right, Miracle wants a new hero every game.
Yeah.
That's right. Kuro said that in an interview. So it's like,
he's
what do we have left?
He's been playing Earth Spirit in FPL.
All right. Yeah, Miracle plays a good Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
He's been playing that before as well.
Yeah.
But okay, Spectre.
Fun draft, and we've got a Brood. Wasn't quite where we thought we might get it, but it is in there nevertheless. So does that sway our panel even further in advance? Is this now 100% Liquid game, or do you give any hope to our boys from Brazil?
I think the Spectre pick was not good, personally. I don't think they took advantage of having the last pick in this game, but I think Liquid are so confident that they just want to run something different and make it work. They probably feel so good after the first 4 that they felt like they can pick anything. I don't know.
I actually think the Spectre is
random the last.
I think the Spectre is decent, just suboptimal, right?
Okay.
I actually think I have this game like 65-35 Liquid, but that's actually a lot. My prior odds would have been a lot worse for SG.
Okay.
So I'm actually pretty happy. I think this game's good.
Do you like the fact that they've gone for comfort here?
Yes,
Yeah.
1,000 times. Yes.
Okay.
I like the fact that SG can fight, and I think that's their way to win this game, is that they need to look for kills and just bring it to Liquid. Don't let Liquid farm. They have a very weak laner in Spectre, so
Watch ADR in those team
put
fights.
pressure on.
I think that's going to be the game.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Right then, it is time for our next game, and it is time to hand you over to our commentary team for game number 3. Can the Brazilians pull off a surprise win against the world champions? Let's find out.
Thank you very much, Paul, and indeed a very, very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Odie Pixel. I'm going to be joined by the fantastic Ben Malini-Wu for this best of 1 extravaganza between Liquid and SG. Ben, we've just seen the draft. We've just seen Miracle. We know what's going on in the draft. He's telling Kuro, he said, I want to play Spectre. The question is, has Miracle gone too far?
I don't think so. If you're going to do it versus the team, SG is the right team to do it against, but it's still a Spectre. I think if you ask anyone's opinion about Spectre, it's going to be generally fairly negative. You might be excited to see the hero, but you still think the hero is terrible. Absolutely.
It's, as we heard the stats, it's not great at the moment. A very less often picked than the majority of other cores in this patch, but Miracle, he wants to do it. The rest of the draft, of course, that Liquid have, these other 4 heroes look incredibly scary. A lot of heroes that a lot of teams at previous lands, such as Kiev, did not want to let Liquid have, or normally regretted when they did. We saw, I believe, in Kiev, Kuro getting his hands on Chen pretty much every game and winning them with quite some fashion. This man, incredibly confident on the hero.
Yeah, now they have 2 supports that you actually need to worry about a lot in the draft. So why Spectre here? Let's kind of go through what Spectre is good and bad at. She has a super long cooldown haunt. It was nerfed in the most recent change to Spectre, which is very detrimental in this sort of patch. You need an ultimate that can fight really, like, just, every 2 minutes, I would say, is not ideal, but playable. Longer than 2 minutes is just... You're stretching.
I mean, absolutely. We see, in terms of heroes that do have those big cooldowns on the ultimates, sometimes in the Chinese scene, they come through.
They don't even pick Warlock and Enigma anymore, though.
Yeah, exactly. Heroes like that, even there, have fallen off. And as you say, trying to make something work in this capacity. But maybe that goes to say something. The Spectre, what kind of build are we going to see Miracle do? What is it going to be? Sort of the Radiance Rush? Is he going to go for the sort of phase drums and sort of earlier actions stat build? I mean, what's the plan here from Liquid? With the rest of their lineup, Kuro on the Chen, they're going to have this very strong presence in the laning stage. The panel sort of talks about whether SG are going to be able to deal with that, with these sort of defensive supports, having the Winter Wyvern. The panel didn't seem too impressed in the capabilities of this hero against the Chen's rotations. Would you sort of agree this is
not good in
hard?
rotation, but it's great in the team fight and great in anti-push. So you can't have it all. A hero can't do everything, so you have to kind of look at your biggest weaknesses of the team. Their team is pretty terrible at anti-push without the Winter Wyvern, and not particularly great at team fight without the Winter Wyvern. Like, they have bad ultimate, but it's still tough to get all that nuke damage in. So I think Winter Wyvern was a really good pick for them here. I actually think I would have preferred a LC maybe as opposed to a Batrider. I think LC also has a lot of wave clear. He's very good versus the Beastmaster Roar, so he's kind of an all-in-one. But the Batrider is much more offensive and has a much better chance of catching out the Brood.
Yeah, absolutely, that catch is going to be absolutely essential. They've got good setup as well for these rotations. Obviously, with the Nyx Assassin setting up for the Mirana, could set up for some really nice mid-game global action. And we should be able to get the game underway. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with us. We did have a brief pause, but the game is underway. We should be able to cut straight into the action now as Liquid versus SG Esports gets itself underway. We'll see what the lanes are going to be as well. At the moment, Miracle looking to take himself up towards the top lane. So is this simply Liquid trying to dodge some sort of lane matchup that could be pretty bad for them to find themselves in?
Well, I think the Spectre versus Bat matchup is fine. It's not great for Spectre, but it's not awful. But I think you just want to be closer to where the Chen is going to be active so you have that threat. So Spectre can actually farm. Spectre's early game is one of the weakest in the game. But she will be, versus the Mirana? There's not... The lanes from SG are like not super strong. You're not going to get dominated in a lane. It's not like you're going to be versus Viper or anything like that. So Spectre should be able to have an okay early game, especially with the early poor man shield.
And looking to get this matchup down bottom, obviously with these movements, you know, with Simba.
So
be there against the poster. So
yeah, looks like the Brood. They want the Brood bottom. Brood versus Ember is actually not that bad for both sides.
But is Brood versus Bat really good?
It's not great. I would say you ideally want the Brood matchup versus Mirana. Mirana will just get dumpstered by the Broodlings. There's really nothing she can do that early. You don't have enough mana for Starstorm, and Starstorm doesn't even do enough damage, even if you had the mana.
And this is some very interesting stuff, of course, because Liquid, they will be putting Mind Control on the mid lane this game on the Beastmaster. And already Kuro just fending off the Theolacor from his half of the jungle to get the wall down.
Beastmaster's right click is very strong at level 1.
It is, isn't it, Bob? Yeah. So 66 in order with the extra Fairy Fire, 68 right click. But how does he do it? Surely in a lane against the Ember Spirit, there's going to be a bit
for
of...
Beast.
Boy's just too beefy really to worry about.
His attack animation is really good. His attack speed's pretty decent for a strength hero.
Top lane.
Yeah, so...
2 missed stuns there from SG. A nice little juke, to be fair, from Miracle to dodge out the Impale from the Nyx Assassin, but could have got a little hairy for him up there. Does have the salve ready, so should be fine for now.
Yeah, he's already burned through a fair amount of regen. At least he got pulled a little bit. Once he gets the poor man shield again, he should be okay, but this is where Chen has to direct his efforts. However, they do have observer wards up there, so they will easily see this coming.
GH going in for some harassment here onto Costa Beale. They've got the Hellbear Smasher.
Why didn't he...
Getting thrown out of the dagger there. The dagger actually looks like Miracle casted it on the ground. Doesn't matter either way, because with the free pathing, he just crosses the tree line, takes the first blood.
Wow, that was a super greedy play from Rana. He sees the Hellbear running at him, and then he arrows the other
another creep. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And on top of that, like, not only is that a greedy play, you're also revealing the fact that you don't have leap. So yeah. About that.
Next level plays, but all top. Hey, here we go. It's all about the long con. They managed to turn around, look for Miracle. Miracle is tanking up though, looking to try and fog them, and in fact he's going to make it. Theolacor can't chase that down on his own, and Bardino and Costa Beale have already been fended off by GH and Kuroki. Theolacor himself in trouble. The Hellbear Smasher ready to give him the clap. But the Nyx Assassin just a little bit too quick, will get himself back to safety.
The thing about it is if you trade 1-for-1, let's say Miracle did die there, you're still completely fine with that. Miracle getting first blood as Spectre, that's just not something that you really bank on in the early game. And if it does happen, you're happy about that. And he was low on HP mana anyways, whatever, just come back and harass him even more. And this Mirana is going to have an awful start as a result of the Chen.
Mind Control. I mean, Theolacor came across trying to steal that rune upon him, but Mind Control did manage to grab it, and we'll look to trade a few hits into Theolacor, send him back off. Mid lane matchup as it's going so far, very even trade between the two. Adriano 14 for 2, and Mind Control just slightly ahead, 14 for 5.
Ooh, 2 points in the X. I don't see that very often. And I think Mind Control does switch it up, but in the off lane / safe lane, it's usually like a 0-3-3 build.
Oh, up top again, missed stuns here from Theo. Needs to make those connections if they want to have a chance at going for anything. They need that setup for the Sacred Arrow to come through from Costa Beale. Otherwise, it is going to be Liquid getting away safely every time from that top lane. CS, though, for Miracle, of course, is certainly slowed down. SG managing to keep good control in that regards and make sure that their Mirana is ahead of the Spectre's farm for now.
Maybe CS-wise. Not gold-wise, though, sadly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first blood.
SG do have that great observer ward. They're watching the 2 supports right now, but they are smoked. Looks like they're trying to kill the Ember before he is level 6.
Will be the dream kill here for Liquid.
Oh, he's so far up.
He is incredibly deep, Adriano. Not aware at all of this going on. Is there going to be any chance of him getting out? And indeed, as you say, still without the level 6 quite there. He's going to be surrounded. The other core coming in, maybe seeing if he could throw in a stun to help, but it's too late. Liquid get the kill, the rotation absolutely coming in at a perfect time there. Ember is down. Kuro again, fighting with Theo. Was looking for the rune up top, but ends up spawning bottom. JH able to get his hands on it. Top lane, this does mean Miracle is left on his own. Arrow will connect here from Costabile, and him and Bardina bring him down low, but Miracle always got a stick. And it is just enough to keep him alive. Again, Miracle just playing around with him there on that top lane.
I mean, look how many resources they're throwing at the Spectre too, and he's still not dying. And that's really bad because Brood just does whatever Brood wants on the bottom lane.
I mean, that's exactly how that lane's looking to be going as well. Yeah, 35 CS at the moment on Matumba Man. Sailing ahead, the bat being no issue whatsoever as it seems. Of course, there's good farm as well on the bat, but it's not quite on par.
His tower's already down.
I mean, yeah, he's got the CS, but he hasn't managed to protect the lane.
You can try the creep skip war. Like you'll sometimes see that in one-on-one matches where both matchups creep skip. Very common versus Darkseer, but you can't really do that versus a Brood because Brood has extra summons that can tank the tower, and he doesn't even have a Bassi, I believe. Yeah, he doesn't have a Basilius on the Brood, but still able to take down that tower very early on. Yep.
This is going to be a very fast Desolator for Matumba Man, no doubts about that. He's already got the money for the first Mithril Hammer. Pretty much done.
You really don't want him to be able to take this tower down early because, like, the way Brood gets super far ahead is by farming the Ancients in the early game.
Well, you can get both now, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to try coming across looking for him. They do have the dust.
Oh, so many spider
Yeah, Theo just can't get close enough for the stun. He'll stun up the little babies, but he won't get the big one. The action itself is actually going to be up on the top lane where Liquid, they will get the successful gank. They move in, close down onto the Bardino Wyvern, take the kill, but he's fine. They just can't catch him at this stage of the game. Not with having the lasso yet available on the Batrider, and without being able to close the gap on the Nyx Assassin for an initial stun. There's just no chance at catching this Brood.
Some people think that Brood should not be able to get away with a bootsless build. I think there's pretty much only 2 heroes in the game that can go bootsless. This is Broodmother and
Weaver?
Weaver, yeah. Weaver's the other one. Weaver, I mean, even then you like consider getting treads on the hero. I guess Broodmother, sometimes you'll see phase boots, but like he just dodged the gank while slowed by dust. Right.
Oh, Ben. New patch soon. Let's go, boys.
Are you a Brood spammer?
No.
Do you hate Brood?
No, my team does when I random it. Mid lane, mind control. Able to get some good pressure onto this tier 1, and there's not really anyone wants to come to this mid lane now. Mind control's pretty scary. He's halfway through level 7. He's getting all the farm that he needs. Bottom lane, Adriano's actually hanging out down here. It's a bit of a spooky place for him to be, but with the remnants, one of the only heroes really on the team that can come down here and find something without having the worry of Matumba Man just destroying them straight away. Matumba Man, 7 minutes in, and he is less than 1,000 gold away from having a Desolator. This is going to be probably one of the fastest desos we've seen on the Broods. I don't think there's any doubt about that at this rate. And there looks to be very little intention from SG to try and stop him at this stage. They sent a couple of heroes down there. It was not a success, and looks like they're opting at not trying it again anytime soon. Top lane, again, trying to keep Miracle back from the farm. But as you say, sure, he might not be getting as the numbers in terms of CS, but with the first blood god, the fact that he's not actually dying in this lane, Liquid, they're having fun all over the map, all 3 lanes.
So AM was banned in the last. Oh no. AM was banned in the last phase, so maybe they're looking for AM substitutes that don't get counter. I think the heroes that counter AM don't really counter Spectre. For example, like Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker, I think, actually does pretty terribly versus Spectre, because Spectre is just very tanky, and you can't really man up versus him. Also, the timing of when Spectre gets really strong is a little bit later than anti-mages, so you're not really worried about the game going 50 minutes plus if you have a Spectre on your team, whereas if you have an anti-mage, the longer the game goes past 50, the more likely you are about to lose because you have too much farm. So Spectre just has a different peak and very likely to be buffed next patch, so maybe just some premature exploration.
See if they can get away with this. They're going down here with the smoke. SG sending 4 members down. They really want to try and catch Matumba Man. Adriano on the front lines. We'll see if Matumba reveals himself. The poser now closing the gap. Does dust preemptively, but it's going to be out of range of the spider. And with that already popped, unlikely that they catch him. He's just going to walk past them. The smoke's dispelled. SG find nothing. And Matumba Man, he'll just go back to farming their side of the map. He sees them all pass. He knows that area is now safe, as they've just all walked past him. Mid lane, Mind Control and Kuro having their eyes on Adriano. Mind Control, he does have the Primal Roar there. Adriano trying to duke it out there with the Remnant back down into the river. But Matuma Man's there as well. Mind Control able to close the gap. They do have Moonlight Shadow. Is there any detection on Liquid? Oh, they want a TI, but they don't have detection. They don't have it. So SG will get Adriano out there. Really nice Moonlight, saving him from imminent death.
Before that, though, the spacing from Matuma Man to like dispel the smoke and still get away safely was very well played. That's kind of exactly what you want from your position 1. Is a player that is able to dodge ganks like that. That's probably one of the most important things that you can do as a carry in the first 15 minutes of the game.
It costs a bit. He's out of that. No need to mess around with Miracle.
But right now, SG just don't have that many options. Like Spectre's actually quite tanky with value point and dispersion.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that much HP, but you have to consider that like Chen Heal is going to be there. He has dispersion. He has stick. He has he can traverse all terrain. So there's a lot of innate defensive abilities in the Spectre. So who do they actually gank right now? You want to kill either Matuma Man or Broodmother.
You gotta kill. I mean,
or Spectre, but they can't kill either right now.
I mean, we're 10 minutes in. Matuma Man, he has the Desolator on his way out. There's 200 gold away from the Blink Dagger on Mind Control. But they do have the Blink on the back.
Yeah, they really need this to work out.
They really need to do something big with that reveal.
But if you don't gank the Spectre, you have the problem of perhaps Miracle being able to turn around with a Haunt into the fight. So you have 2 global abilities that you do need to worry about if, let's say, you gank Matuma Man. So, like, one person TP's in, you have the Chen Heal, you have the Haunt there. Suddenly, what looks like an easy 3-for-1, 4-for-1 smoke, there's suddenly all these factors that you didn't really account
look
for.
At this as well. This is just 10 minutes, you get the Deso on the Spider. You go into the pit with the Chen. And SG, I don't think they're going to be expecting it this early on in the game. There should be a freebie here for Liquid.
Liquid is probably one of the best teams in the world at playing keep away. Is like not fighting when they don't need to fight at all. Like they're getting so much farm around the map right now.
Oh, here we go.
In the late game.
GH should be in trouble here. He'll try and hold them back with a quick telekinesis, but the Flame Guard burns him down. And SG will get themselves on the board with regards to kills.
Sacrifice Tower and Roche for that. It's rough. Yeah, at least you got a kill.
They got
moral
some
boost. Yes.
I mean, in terms of kills, it's been a slow-paced game. It's only 3-1, 11 minutes in. Obviously, the net worth is definitely the big story. 6k gold lead at the moment for Liquid, and seems to be showing no signs of stopping.
They actually want to fight right now. You can tell by Spectre's build.
Yeah.
Spectre went for Urn. So this kind of phase in the game is a little bit awkward because you have like Broodmother farming a lot, waiting. She doesn't really need BKB yet because he has the Aegis, but you're still like much stronger, so kind of want to fight. But so what does Spectre want to do? Spectre could aid the Broodmother in fighting or be in the late game insurance. And looks like he will take the former option. Looks like he's going to build a Manta too next.
Oh, I like that. We've got the chains, confuse the bat a little bit. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't
jump on.
actually think you care if they jump the Spectre, though. I think if they jump the Spectre, they just lose the fight. But he didn't actually go for like a more tanky build, too. We'll see what he picks up later.
It's nice as well. I mean, more with the Desolate as well, if you find those solo heroes on the back lines when you haunt on them. Damage output can be pretty insane for ripping them apart.
Deso doesn't really help him as much as other heroes, though. He does a lot of pure damage on the Spectre.
No, I'm talking about the Desolators in the skill.
Oh, Desolate. Yeah. Okay, I think Desolator.
Come on, man. No, Ben. Come on.
If he can find them.
Well, let's see if they do anything here with this Moonlight. SG having the lead here is the possibility. Once they find that catch with the bat, but yeah, these wards, Liquid, they know that it's coming. I mean, Miracle's still chilling. They did see this one come through. The arrow combo not quite working out, but it doesn't matter. They do end up losing Miracle, but he is going to buy back and haunt in. He's angry. Miracle wants to play Dota 2, and he has managed to help take down one. He'll turn towards Leposa. They will get the bat as well. And that was the come and kill me debate from Miracle, and it seems to prove to be very effective here for the side of Liquid as they've taken down 2, make that 3, double kill for Miracle. He wanted to die all along. As he'll come back in and pretty much make back the money that he had to expend. Well, not quite. A little bit of a tax there as he loses 100 net worth, but net exchange in terms of the overall goal. But it really does feel Liquid. They're starting to have a bit of fun with this, man. They're playing around.
Their spacing was just a little bit off. When they were positioned around the roast, they wanted to actually pop the smoke. Because they had the observer wall right there, they would have been able to see it immediately and then back off, or haunt it and immediately kill the Bat Rider, but they were actually just a tiny bit off in their position.
Let's see if they can get this here. Kuro and GH may have just stepped over a little too far here. GH is on his way home and he will make it. Kuro will make it back in a casket.
What a bro.
Very nice, G. They're slowing it down. I do like this as well. You know, they're punishing these sort of, you know, maybe where Liquid's getting a little too comfortable. You saw them come over there. They have got that ward, Liquid, on the high ground in that bottom half of the Dyer's map, but didn't end up doing them too good there. To Maman, for Adriana, they do have the telekinesis, and in fact with the stolen stun, it's going to be close. Does just manage to get himself out with the stick charges at the ready as well. Matuma's got a completed defusal blade though. Oh! Hey, that's not going to save him though if he's been lassoed. They've got the lasso into the stun, and with the Firefly, they will manage to pop the Aegis. Killing him a second time, that's going to be a bit of a bigger ordeal. We'll see if they attempt it. They are going to look towards him. They've got the slow from the Wyvern, not quite enough. Arrow won't make the connection. Oh, Courier, well hang on, someone's starting to feed the Courier there. Will be brought back just in time. Watch out, Liquid. Let's not get too carried away.
Is that why you don't play the micro heroes? Because you just accidentally feed Courier?
I mean, that's what it is, you know, when you spawn, you look back at the fountain, you just, you know, click and drag over everything, and suddenly you're trying to get the Courier to poof and throw nets at people. It doesn't work out.
Please swap me Brood every time you random him.
We've got a GH with the blink. Oh, look at this build on the Ember Spirit. What
yeah, that Solar Crest?
Yeah.
Solar Crest is...
I mean, it's a great item.
Yeah, it solves this armor issue. That's Ember's probably biggest weakness is not having armor. You always have to just build armor, either Veil or Armor Talent or Shiva's later in the game. But he does have a lot of magic on his team, so Veil I think would still be pretty good. But the evasion, I would say, is much more useful than maybe the amplified magic damage, because it does help a lot of Spectre. Spectre does a lot of pure, so you want evasion, so he misses, or you want HP.
Yeah, I like the thought behind it. And well, helped out a little bit there. Throws it down onto Kuro, and they do manage to chop down the Chen.
It's also really good with the Winter Wyvern. You always want a Solar or a Medallion on your team.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. And yeah, I guess no one else was really going to be looking to farm it up at any sort of reasonable rate on the side of SG. So yeah, he makes the call. And yeah, well, we're still waiting to see really that first big Winter's Curse. Hasn't really been a chance for it. A lot of sort of scrappy fights. Liquid split up, coming in one by one rather than as a full 5-man. Farm for Miracle. Looks like so good. Hey, she just picks up the Ashen and looks for Diffusal Blade next.
This Wyvern's going to need a lot more farm, though. You mentioned he hasn't been able to get any of his Winter's Curse, and I think that's going to continue to be a problem, because they're going to haunt, they're going to see him immediately, and then they're going to kill him. Or at least the Spectre is. And he's going to be alone because he's going to haunt in, so Winter's Curse isn't going to really do anything. Oh, this could be a huge kill.
I was going to say, this is really nice. We've seen the poster do this a couple of times now, where he gets the opening onto Matumaman. Matumaman has been chained, gets healed up by the hands of God, but it's not enough. That's going to be Matumaman down. Miracle jumped in with the Haunt, but now he's the one to be chained as well. Jump forward from Costa Bill, trying to get the damage through with his boosted attack speed. Remnant in from Adriano. They're actually going to take a second here. SG. They do lose the Wyvern, as expected, as you say. As soon as the Haunt comes out, the Wyvern's dead. But SG overall getting 2 cores. Big fight and big pickoffs from the Batrider. Laposa setting up some miracles here for SG.
Very greedy build from Brood, I would say. So that's a very nice Haunt. It actually tanks the arrow. So he would have been like just super dead way early on in the fight. But they have a nice set of chainstone on him. And Chen's all the way on the top side of the map. Pretty much wouldn't have made that big of a difference in the fight, because he would have probably just helped kill his teammates with a curse. So not that big of a deal, but Liquid have to be very careful not to feed away their super high net worth heroes. Yeah. They also got like 1 free death because of the Aegis before, and if they don't get this next Aegis, I could see them potentially being in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, SG really stepping things up. The money's starting to flow in for Adriana as he works towards both the Radiance and the Boots of Travel. The other core already hot on the case for more action.
Matumaman needs BKB. He usually goes Mask pretty early on. The Diffusal Blade, very common pickup versus the Ember. Very common pickup in general, but especially versus the Ember to purge off his shield so you can actually kill him.
Look at this down bottom. Looks like they may have... They did have eyes on the Beastmaster. He'll back away.
22% passive gold. Nice.
That's strong, man.
Well played.
Very skilled part of the game there. Collecting the passive.
And not losing it.
Exactly.
Not dying is hard, Owen. That's one of the hardest parts about this game.
It is.
So Roche is up. I would say daytime is much better for them than nighttime. Like nighttime, everyone's about on even foot, but daytime, because they usually have the Bat Rider out in front, I think they can actually like haunt in or disable his blink before he can actually get a jump. But SG know that they need to make a move before the next Roche, because if Liquid get the next Roche, they're going to buy enough time for Brood to get BKB, in which the fights will be a lot different than the way we've just seen.
I did try with the Moonlight Shadow to make something happen. They scan as well, but didn't quite catch Liquid. Liquid themselves on the high ground. They've got the vision on Theodore. Came in for a bit of a scout. A quick jump in from GH. That telekinesis, making sure that there's no chance for Theo to react. Link's Assassin is gone. And with one man down, unlikely that SG will look to force anything for at least those 20 seconds. Once they're just a 4-man, they need the full 5-man ready to tackle any sort of attempt at a fight with Liquid, and not where Adriano wanted to. Remnant, who jumped into the middle lane. Off the back of that, they're gonna lose a few more. Bodino trying to hold them back with the Winter's Curse, but Miracle simply walks around the back lines of it, and they'll lose the Wyvern. Little mistakes like that you cannot afford to pull off in front of Liquid. They will punish them very quickly and incredibly effectively.
They're playing very well around the Roche though. Like they're not actually taking it or playing inside the pit. They just know that SG can't allow them to take it. So what do? Just sit around the pit with better vision, more sentries, and just jump whomever comes close by. I also think the Solar Crest is much better for like trying to focus down heroes, but they haven't really gotten to that point yet. We haven't really seen the Wyverns affect this game at all. But yeah, maybe Spectre is a pretty good pick for the Wyvern though.
Yeah, I mean, Miracle seems to stay having a lovely time. Has got down a couple, but his involvements in the fights have been absolutely top stuff. 4-2-4, 8 of the 10 kills he's been about for, and the farm continues to roll as well. You've got to remember they did start him on that aggressive lane against SG's tri lane.
Yeah, that's super unusual in by itself. Normally you only see it with the Lich, but it was like a Rubik, Spectre, and Chen tri lane.
GH trying to go in here with the Stolen Remnant spam. Will manage to steal the Vendetta, and with the Roar, they'll turn around and take Theo. The poster does try for the jumping, gets the lasso into the arrow. Have they got the damage to bring him down? No. He's back home safe and sound. Thanks to Kuro. Now, the rest of them trying to escape. But the poster is not getting away from this spooky, scary spider. Matuma Man with the Diffusal Blade. In fact, he may not be done.
Again, look at the...
He wants to go for more potentially here. Bardino slowed as well, trapped with the spiders. Double kill for Matumama.
Again, look at what they're doing. Is just playing around the Roche with superior vision and just letting someone sacrifice. It was supposed to be Rubik who sacrificed, but GH kind of outplayed his way out of that. Then now SG, they're gonna have to deal with Aegis Cheese on Matumama, who already does a ton of damage. He built a fairly glass cannon build with the mask and Dezo and the diffusal. No HP items or defensive at all. Really going to pay off now.
Yeah, having the Aegis, and not only that, but being more than halfway. Well, yeah, more than halfway towards the BKB. That's a lot of scary items to have on a spider. And SG questions if they were ready to deal with it. They do have lockdown through the BKB, but again, it's really sort of the damage that's the issue, and also the constant threat of Kuro being able to send people back to safety.
They need the Radiance like really, really soon, because this Aegis could do a lot of structural damage, but he's still about 2,000-3,000.
This is what they get away with it. Cole cost a bit, goes in, jumps out. Mind control, actually cancelled his TP here. And for that, he's going to be caught out. They'll come into the trees, and they will catch him. Did pop the bots, but immediately decided to stick around in the neighborhood, and it does cost him his life. SG pick up the kill. They drop a scan just to make sure there wasn't any other members of Liquid in the neighborhood, but it was a total freebie. Liquid themselves were putting some pressure on mid, but nowhere near Mind Control's Beastmaster.
Wonder what made him cancel his TP. What possessed him to do so? I didn't actually see where he was TPing to. Might have just
Oh, I
been
didn't know. I
accident
didn't. Yeah, I didn't see where it was TPing to be fair, now. There we go, up top. One from GH. Manages to get the catch onto Adriano. Quick slide of change to dodge the initial stun from Kuro's creeps, and Adriano gets himself out. Theolacor as well. Starting to get out of there with the Moonlight Shadow. He will survive. Can SG re-engage on this? This would be ideal for the side if they can. They'll look towards Kuro. The arrow doesn't hit Chen, but it hits the bigger target. Gets Matumba Man. Theo with the follow-up. Have they got the damage? Well, with 5 heroes here, they sure have. They'll take him down once. Mind controls come in, and with the Haunt from Miracle, things could potentially start to get scary here for SG. They're on the retreat, trying to get out of this one. The poster's going to be the first to fall. Chains hold back the Spider, but SG, they're being slowed up incredibly by this dagger and search for a Miracle. They'll look to Remnant out, up to the safety of the high ground. Is he actually going to be that safe at all, though? Miracle's just diving, chasing them past the tier 3, picks up the double as he takes down Bardino. Will give a little bit of mercy to Adriano and Costabil as they'll get back to base. But again, as we saw, so hard for SG, even in a position there where in most games that would have been a great time to go back in. But when there's a Spectre in the game, things get a little bit different.
Yeah, the curse had to be blown very, very early on in the fight. He actually just used it on a Haunt illusion just to buy himself some more time. However, that thing's not very tanky, so the curse isn't actually going to last that long. Still, Matumba Man does need his BKB. They're not able to really get what they want to out of these fights simply because he just dies going in. Very easy to lock him down or prevent him from attacking, prevent him from lifestealing. But once he does get BKB, he's still going to have to worry about that Winter's Curse. At least Mirana's getting there too. One for a Maelstrom, usually you see Diffusal, but versus this massive amount of summons, I think you want more AoE, either the Scepter build or the Maelstrom build.
Yeah, interesting. I was actually looking back at actually the way that Costa built. I don't think he actually builds Diffusal that much. He normally sort of opts for the Manta, Maelstrom, Lincolns, Dragon Lance.
It's more old school.
Yeah. There we go, Miracle. Would be a dream catch for SG. They are going to position around this top tier 1.
They might catch.
Oh, there's a double damage rune on this Spectre. Not something that they would really want to mess around with.
This is a really good time to take a fight too. Spectre's Haunt is down. There's no Aegis on the Broodmother. This is a really good time for them to hit. However, the BKB is up on Matumba.
He is.
See that now.
An incredible threat.
But they also notice that he doesn't have a TP scroll, so they know that they still have a decent amount of time to push if they would like. Or take a fight on this side of the map because they know their main damage source isn't actually going to be there.
We'll see how much they can do with that information. We do nearly have the Radiance on Adriano. He has the Relic. I believe was just a few hundred gold away from the recipe. And just a couple of hundred gold. And the Radiance will be done for the Ember Spirit. Liquid. Ready to go once again down bottom. Maybe even threaten the high ground. Bardino, he heads forward. And he's quickly sent backward there. Liquid jump on him immediately, and now they're ready to try and break the base. They did pop Haunt for that, nonetheless, but it brings Miracle into a position where he's able to help with the siege onto the high ground. Jump forward from Laposa, gets the lasso, but a quick telekinesis from GH holds him in place. Matumba Man's going to be fine. The bat is not. Laposa down. SG lose 2. Now Matumba, he's ready to dive in deep. Pops the BKB, doesn't give a damn about the Spike Carapace. The arrow will hold back Miracle. The buybacks do come out from SG, but they've already lost the tier 3. This huge onslaught of animals being sent down this bottom lane, clean up the melee racks. As SG, despite the buybacks, are unable to keep their base intact on the bottom.
Yeah, things just fell apart really quickly for them.
18k gold lead, 19k in fact now for Team Liquid. It's looking incredibly rough for SG. They had some nice little plays this game, but overall it really has been Liquid just putting on a clinic, showing us the Liquid we've come to see before TI, at TI, and after TI.
Their tower hitters are also really terrible on the side of SG. They have to 5-man a lot because of the Desolate and the Haunt, but they're going to lose out on a lot of farm and split pushing and pushing out lanes as a result.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, he's really fat. He also went probably one of the greatest builds you could possibly go on Brood.
I mean, he really, yeah. Deso, Diffusal.
And then Mask.
And then BK. And then he goes. Okay. Now he's got level 2 Diffusal Blade as well. And they're in the neighborhood. I mean, Matumba, he can put that BKB and kill any of these pretty
no
much.
need to take that risk without Haunt, though.
Sure. He probably... Wait, I mean, Costa Bill's looking pretty tasty. Go on. He wants to do it. He's just going to go in, opens up. There's a shrine. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Bardino will live. Matuma Man gave him the walk away. They're not committing for the final touch. And on that, they won't find a kill. Not a lot was committed, though, of course, by Liquid. So not really too much of an issue for them. But not finding the quick and easy kills that Matuma Man was hoping for.
Good restraint, though.
The vision down.
Yeah, they just need to take it easy and slow, fight with their PKBs up, fight when their ultimates are up, or just fight with the next Aegis. So this Shrine's dead, and SG are really hard pressed to do anything right now. I guess they do have the Radiance up on the Ember, but that's about it.
See what they can do with their resources, but here's the jump in already. Immediately everything thrown onto the Wyvern. That'll be Bardino down. Leposa trying to get away. Miracle hot on the chase. Leposa trying to get up on the high ground to escape this, but does get the lasso off. Doesn't matter though. Too much damage being kicked out from the Spectre. They do turn, get the arrow connection. Hand of God comes through. It's enough to keep Miracle alive. SG just cannot find the trades. Yellowcore himself does get the stun, but he has to run. And that's all he can do. There's no hiding from this man. As Mind Control will chase him. Makes out the Spike Carapace. Mid lane though, Matumba does decide to feed away his life. He's down for 80 seconds. I mean, that is a huge kill for SG. Questionable whether it matters in the grand scheme of things, but it's a big kill nonetheless.
Who got that?
I think it was split.
Oh, it's split. That's perfect.
That's good. A little bit of money for both of the cores, but
They just need better high ground defense. Like this Wyvern just dies immediately at the start of the fight. This is why I'm saying he just needs more items. Ideally, I would say a Glimmer Cape, because Spectres just generally don't have enough item slots to carry Dust. And Glimmer Cape plus Cold Embrace, pretty nice combo for him.
But he has got the Diffusal.
Yep.
If he's quick with that. Oh, top the Raw. Does he want to chase? Does he want to play? Can he? That's the question. Doesn't look like he can. Mind Control's already out. Fool me on it. Complete for the Mirana. Now top. Troll and GH. Still have to be a bit careful as Leposa is ready to hunt.
There's so many summons though to worry about that are just keeping their eyes on him. Beastmaster Hawks, Boars, Chen Kriegs, Broodlings.
But on the other half, man, that's more money on the map for SG. There are positives.
A bit. Ever the optimist.
Back to base they go. SG very much waiting for Liquid to make the move, to make the misstep, and they can punish GH.
He is ridiculous.
600 gold away from a completed Aghanim Scepter.
I mean, Kuro plays this way more defensive Chen too. Notice he's had like a lot of key sendbacks too. SG would probably be, what, 13, 14 kills right now if it weren't for some of the sendbacks. So he's sacrificing his net worth to boost up his others.
Here we go. The wraparounds there from Liquid. They've got a good angle. GH jumping in with the telekinesis to set up into the stolen stun. Costa Bill held in place. Winter's Curse trying to buy him time, but Miracle pops the BKB, jumps forward with the horn. They've found the Mirana. They're looking for more once again. Bardino in trouble. Does Cold Embrace himself. It doesn't matter though. The damage still cuts him out from the Desolate, and Leposa, he is none the luckier as a third member drops once again on SG. Unable to scratch Liquid's lineup at all. 21k gold lead. The slaughter just continuing.
Just way too much vision in the fights. Night Stalker is generally the counter Bat Rider, just so he can't initiate in the fight. But this game, there's just so many more things to deal with than a simple darkness, including the Haunt and all the suns. There's just no, like I would actually say that the Bat Rider played a pretty good mid game. He got a lot of key jumps.
He did get some good jumps on Matuma, man.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But then after that, if Liquid just take a breath, relax a little bit, spread out their summons, and play properly, then it should just end up in a really swift and easy push for them.
No surprises there at all, as GG is called. Liquid will take down SG in this best of one, and pretty much in the expected fashion as well. This was the Liquid that we've come to know oh so well, giving us this just perfect performance of Dota. They know the lanes, they know the game. Kuro